City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Tonight I'm here with
Akosia Ochre.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, even after the Supreme Court made a pronouncement on James Jachi Kwesin, the direction for his name to be expunged by the Supreme Court has resulted in an uncertainty on the floor of Parliament. The Speaker has asked the Supreme Court for guidance. Also coming up, pensioners escalate campaign for payment of their funds to the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ. This is after countless efforts at the Ministry of Finance failed. And later on Eyewitness News, former Environment Minister, who also chaired the government's first interministerial committee on illegal mining, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, breaks his silence on the report of his arrest. He says he is not perturbed, but he explained, blow by blow, how he spent more than 2 hours being interrogated by the Office of Special Prosecutor and being asked to pay, or rather go on bail at a tune of 2 million Ghana cedis. Stay with 97.3 City FM for more of this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
the Ghana Revenue Authority reiterates efforts to scale up VAT issuance exercise to improve compliance.
That's in 15 minutes from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live on Kasha 99.9 FM, 99.5 FM in Damongo. We are also live on Holy 98.5 FM in Afplawu, Sela Radio 97.1 FM in Dabala. We are also in Kumasi on Orange 107.9 FM and Focus 94.3 FM. We are in Takrady on Sky Power 93.5 FM and Beach 105.5 FM. We are also in the Nalerugu area on Nobia 98.1 FM. We are in Tamale on North Star Radio 92.1 FM. We are in Bongo Namu on Rekas 92.1 FM. We are in Jirapa on Jirapa 96.1 FM and also in Nadoli, the hometown of the Speaker of Parliament, on Tupani Radio 88.5. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM, broadcasting from Adabraka in Accra. You can also join us via City Newsroom and also on YouTube as well as Facebook and follow proceedings from our studios here in Adabraka in Accra. We are interactive. Join us on WhatsApp 0549 986 996 or go on Twitter and drop a message using the hashtag City Newsroom. Tweet at Umaru Sanda or at City973. Let's settle for details of our stories now. And issue of bondholders became a topical one after they resisted government's domestic debt exchange program. They insisted that the government removes their names from the list. Their names were removed after lots of back and forth. Now, the new issue is that their monies are not being paid them by the government. They have been picketing through the rain and the shine at the Ministry of Finance. It appears that is not helping at all. They are planning now to escalate this campaign to the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Let's speak to Dr. Anani Entry. He's convener of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Did it have to get to SHRAJ?
Yes, if you have any disputes, SHRAJ is there to help you resolve.
So you are deeming this a human rights issue or an administrative challenge?
Administrative justice. Well, you are taking money from your citizens. You must pay them interest when you are still keeping their money, not return to them. And they say, well, you are keeping their money. For the 3 years you are keeping, your servicing is paying interest. It is now due. You must return it to me, and you have not been able to return. And your citizens say, please, if you are still keeping my money, pay me interest. Government is not different from any other borrower in this country.
So explain to us what has been happening so far. The last time I hosted you, you had carried plastic chairs to the Ministry of Finance and then the minister deputy, the Honorable Abina Osiasari, had met with you, and we're even told that yesterday you had a meeting. Is it the case that all these meetings have ended?
The first meeting with the lady was a week today. That is where they said all the coupons that were due, at least up to the end of May, they were going to pay it immediately. They were going to pay all immediately. And so we said, well, we will be waiting. Already we have said when there's a coupon due for payment, we'll give government Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Because if we give instructions on Monday, definitely by Wednesday, we should see indications that the things are being paid. So we will give government the time. And then again, they said they were going to use 2 weeks within which to pay all the outstanding principals. And then going forward, they will ensure that when they are due, it's paid. But the meeting for today was basically on the interest. That last week, we said we were demanding interest, and they say we cannot make it. We are pleading with you. I say, well, let's the larger group meet and consider your whatever the government is saying. But the larger group met. But yesterday we had a meeting, and it was resolved that we must demand interest for depriving us of our capital, which we are going to reinvest to get the money, because it's like your capital somebody has stopped your capital from working. And if your capital is stopped from working, it deprives you of income from your own capital. And so we say we would demand that. So that was the main reason for today's meeting. But of course, the deputy minister brought in other issues like proposal to buy back our investment and that kind of thing. But it was on the main was on the demand for the interest, and that's why we said we want it. We have resolved to take it because that is all that we use our money to earn interest and use the interest to care for ourselves. So you can't hold my money and deprive me from utilizing the money for interest. And mind you, in this financial market, there is no free capital. Every capital that you take from the financial market, there's a cost. Otherwise, we won't be taught cost of capital, and that now that we are also teaching, we won't be teaching cost of capital. Every capital has a cost. There's no free capital in the financial market. So when you borrow somebody's money, you should not think that you won't pay interest. You borrow, when the time comes, pay back the money. If you are not paying back the money, you must be prepared to continue to service the interest.
Okay, now, so the difficulty is that the state says it will not pay you, or the payment plan is what you do not like, for which reason you've decided to go to church.
No, the issue I say is not going to pay any interest on your money that he keeps on using.
Until when? Is it that it will never pay, or it will pay you at a later
be paid? It will be paid, but we are saying
when?
Now government has started paying some. Some of them have been in arrears for about 108 days now, and you don't deprive people from their capital, deprive them of their capital, which they are using to invest. So for now, it means somebody is losing income for the first 3 months or so that he was investing this money. 3 months over, you have deprived the person for getting his money to be used for investment, for that person to get some returns on his investment and use it for his medication, for all his sustenance and all that. So you can't do that. If the money is with you and you haven't returned it, then keep on servicing it, because as it was with you, you have been paying interest. If the time comes and you return it to the investors, interest payment easy. But if you still keep it, then you must pay interest. That is it's a simple matter. But if government is not saying you wouldn't do it, then we say then we submit the matter to Shraj.
So what do you want Shraj to do specifically? What are you asking Shraj to do for you?
To pronounce, to determine whether government can keep our monies without paying interest on it.
All right. A lawyer has just sent me some information that I wish to share with you.
Yes, please share.
He says that Shraj does not have the jurisdiction to enforce contracts, and that bonds.
We are not enforcing
contracts. You're
We
asking
the government. We are saying the government is not dealing with its citizens the way it should deal with administrative justice.
Yeah, but you have a contract with the government. Now, in the course of that contract, one party decides...
Let Chirac say that they cannot adjudicate.
And have you already submitted this petition of yours to Shraj?
No. We are waiting. We are sending our letter to the government for the government to respond. Then we take it there.
All right. We'll see what happens and what comes out of that. Thank you for speaking to us.
I think we should tell the state institutions, let them come out and say, this one, we can't do anything about it. Then it is on record.
Does it mean then that the picketing has been suspended while you wait for Shraj?
Our picketing goes on until the last person is paid. Every Thursday and Friday. And today, of course, the government has started paying what it's supposed to pay this week. We will meet this evening, and once the payment has started trickling in, we may not go tomorrow. We will decide, because that is what we said, that we give government up to Wednesday. If no payment has come, then we pick it on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So now that payment has started coming, we may decide not to go there tomorrow and wait until the next coupon, which is also due from Monday. We'll wait Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and go Thursday. If Thursday we see it's flowing, we won't go Friday. If it doesn't flow, we repeat it on the Friday.
But you do not have the courts as a plan.
No, we don't. If people want us to go to court, that's the last thing we will do.
All right,
it's not part of our plan at all. We will put pressure. If Chirac will not come and support us, we will support ourselves by picketing, even to demand the interest. We will picket to demand the interest. If you don't give us our interest, we are not going home.
Just an aside, by the way, it's the rainy season. You're taking these old men and women to that place. Are you sure you're not harming them?
It is. I am not forcing them to come. In fact, they want to do more than they are even doing. This is their life and death. If you haven't reached there, if that is not your only source of income, you wouldn't see it. All of us, when we were young, we didn't think that's how old age is. Especially when this is your only source of income. To care for yourself, to take care of yourself. Government is not supporting the elderly in this society. Unlike elsewhere where your medication is supplied to you free, I always say, you take buses, you don't pay. Even your heating, your bill, you pay bills at a reduced rate because you are a retiree. We don't have all this in here. And people's money that they have invested with you, pay them interest on it if you are keeping it. It's as simple as that. And if government will not do, we can say, if Chirac say we don't have, the only source is that we just want Chirac to make that statement. And if they do, we won't say we won't accept it, but we have our own way. We will still continue to picket, to demand interest and all payments due us. That is our right.
All right, wish you all the best. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you.
That's Dr. Anani Entry. He's convener for the Pensioner Bondholders Forum. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We have more coming your way. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can't feel better energy. Can't touch this. Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer. Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/city97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/city973, and Instagram at instagram.com/city973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Let's go to the House of Legislature now, because there's a decision by the House of the Judiciary which the House of Legislature can simply not understand. Tell us more, Akosia.
Yes, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, is asking the Supreme Court to provide clarity on its directive to Parliament to expunge the name of James Jachikwason from its records as MP for Asin North. This comes after some members of Parliament raised concerns about how to implement the order of the Supreme Court, since the standing orders of the House does not provide a clear path on such directive. Reacting to the matter, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, says all activities participated in by James Jachikwason since January 2021 would hold until steps have been taken on the way forward.
I still stand by my ruling, and what has just happened is strong evidence that there is a need for clarification. Don't forget that the order is predicated on a number of declaratory rulings by the court. It was not just given in isolation. There were 4 earlier declaratory judgments before the order came as the 5th, if you read the judgment. And those earlier declaratory judgments stated that the election of the member was unconstitutional. The reasons for that were stated. And as a result of that, it was null and void and of no effect. Before the order came, that we should expunge. In fact, it did not say the Speaker should expunge. And it did not say any member of Parliament should expunge. And it did not also say the clerk should expunge. It says the institution called Parliament. That's straight from the Supreme Court. So that institution must carry out the order. The only way the institution can carry out the order is for the institution to reason together. And that is only done in a setting where the opportunity is given to members to think through it. And so members will now have to come out with how this is to be carried out. Is it by the table office, which they just did, and it has led to this objection, or is by the Speaker or the clerk or all of us? The Speaker should give the directive. I don't want to assume powers that are not clearly spelled out in any law. I will not dictate. Where? No. If it's unclear, it's not the Speaker who dictates. So I did indicate, and I mentioned to some members of the court, the Supreme Court, that there's a need for clarification, because expunge doesn't mean delete. Expunge doesn't mean delete. And that doesn't necessarily mean remove. Expunge means, my understanding of the word expunge, means something exists on record and it has to be erased. Now, they said name, and don't forget the earlier declaratory judgment talking about unconstitutional, null and void, and of no effect. It's like it never happened. And if it never happened, and that name has appeared throughout all our records up to the day the order was given, what happens to it? It means we have to go back to delete the name from all the records, or what? I mean, these are genuine issues, and it's not for us. It's not for us to decide on what to do, because don't forget, as is clearly stated, the honourable member drew our attention to Article 2, 3, and 4. The consequences of failure to carry out the order to its fullest effect. But the fourth, that is 2.4, refers to personalities or office holders. That is president or the vice president. But if they had said the speaker, clearly I would have acted. But because they say parliament, and the speaker is not parliament. The speaker is not parliament. And so we are trying to initiate the process for you to maybe take the decision as to whether we should go back for clarification, or you will, by your decision, empower the speaker or the clerk to act. And then when the Supreme Court decides that we have not fully complied, then it's the House. It will not be the speaker or the clerk. It is all the whole House that will be mulched in the sanction, not the speaker or the clerk. So please, Parliament is not the speaker, Parliament is not the clerk.
You heard the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin.
So he's speaking there about the judgment of the Supreme Court on James Gyakye question. It appears that the lawmakers are not understanding the new law from the Supreme Court. General Muhammad Ayariga is a lawyer and member of Parliament for Boko Central. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Your house does not interpret laws, you make laws. But directives are given by the Supreme Court all the time, and people implement them or act on what the Supreme Court has said. It's a bit curious now that 275 plus a speaker, or 274 plus a speaker, you are saying you do not understand what the Supreme Court is saying. Is that what we should understand today's debate on the floor to mean?
The line is breaking. I really cannot hear you.
So my question is, 200.
The line is breaking. The voice has gone down. I just can't hear you.
All right. Is it any better now?
The line is breaking. I cannot hear you.
All right. We would have to call the Honorable Muhammad Ayariga back. I think there's really a problem with the network there. Let's try if we can reach him through other means to have a conversation with him on this particular issue where the House of Parliament is asking for clarification from the Supreme Court, or direction, if you like, clarity on the state of affairs in relation. Let me see if I can reach Honorable Ayariga on another line. Honorable, so my question to you, if you can hear me now, is that the Supreme Court has ruled or has made a decision, which decision is supposed to be enforced by Parliament. Now, listening to the debates in the House today, the assumption is almost as if you are saying you don't understand the meaning of the word expunge. Is that what we should understand today's proceedings to mean?
Well, that's the issue that came up today. There's some discussion about what the implications are in terms of the directive of the Supreme Court. I argue that, so far as I can understand it, the Supreme Court is simply saying that his name should be taken out as a member of Parliament.
Oh my God, I'm told the feedback is still bad. We'll try and re-establish contact with you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, but my understanding is that the feedback is not good. So I will try and re-establish connection with you again. Apologies for that. That's Honorable Muhammad Ayariga, his MP for Boko Central. Let me bring some of the messages that you have been sending through on the show. This one from Akapor Jr. and I have from him. He says, why should expunging of a name bring about confusion in the House of Parliament? The language of the apex court of the land is plain and must be obeyed as such. Alex Kofi Yareni in Adenta Commandos Research says, I'm completely astonished that government is still lackadaisical in paying these frail pensioner bondholders. Please pay them. Joshua from Afienya sends a message, and he says, now under Akufo-Addo, if you're fighting corruption, corruption will fight you. General Ortega says, we are in a complete state of anarchy as a people, and we began arrogating powers to themselves and abusing authority. How can OSP arrest and grant bail? Okay, Emil Akwesivi from Boso in the Eastern region says, is the government not ashamed of that? Is the government not ashamed that pensioners are what government pensioners are going through? They have already toiled for this country now. Al Hassan Hamdan from Nyoini says, I really feel the pain of Professor Frimpong Boateng. I urge all Ghanaians to canvass their votes for GM in 2024. Jones Aduboy in La says, if you could get money overnight and start road construction in the name of by-election, why do you deny the pension bondholders what is due them? And then finally, Prince Henry in Kofridua, he says, why is the Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led MPP government warring these pensioners like this? Abba, why should our pensioners be struggling to get their own monies? This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTFM. Let's go back to the Honorable Mahamayaga MP for Boko Central. Honorable, I hope this time you will be able to hear me. The question is, the Supreme Court's directive is clear, isn't it? Expunge the name. Expunge would simply mean remove the name, correct? But I've heard a debate and then a summary from the speaker and almost like a request to the Supreme Court to explain what expunge means. Is it the word expunge that the Parliament has a problem with, or the consequence of the expunging?
From what I understand the speaker to be saying, when you say that something should be expunged, it has a number of implications, one of which is to make an assumption that the thing never existed. That is why they are saying expunge. They could have just said, the member of parliament James is no longer a member of parliament, and therefore parliament should take the necessary steps to declare the seat vacant. But then they said expunge his name. So the speaker is asking, what does expunge really mean? Is it to say that he's never really been a member of this house? Does that affect the legitimacy of everything that has happened in this house in which he has been involved in? Should his name never be captured in the standing in the Hansard for days that he contributed in debates and etc.? For him, he thinks that the Supreme Court should give greater clarity to why they use the expression expunge his name instead of just using a different form of expression of what they want done. That is why he directed that some further clarification is sought from the Supreme Court on what they actually meant by that expression.
I see. When the Supreme Court makes a judgment, that judgment becomes a new law. But we also know that laws do not take retrospective effect. Does the same not apply in this instance so that you can just move forward from where things ended?
Well, I mean, that was what I argued today in Parliament. I said I think that the Supreme Court just wants his name taken out as a member of Parliament, and that should be it. It should be a forward-looking directive, not to go back in time and try to expunge every record of him in the records of Parliament. That is the Hansard, attendance, everything that he has participated in. I didn't think that that is what the Supreme Court is saying, but the Speaker said he wanted to be sure of what the Supreme Court is saying, so he's going to ask them for some clarification.
Now, when you say you're going to ask for clarification, it means the House will write a letter to the Supreme Court or send a petition, or what form? Because the Speaker mentioned that he had mentioned to some members of the Supreme Court already, but I believe this is going to be a formal thing. So how would the formal request be made?
Well, let me say that when he says he has spoken to some members of the Supreme Court, I think that that will be an unofficial deliberation. So we cannot have regard to that in terms of official reckoning. That's between him and them. I think that if he wants clarification, then Parliament, because the directive is to Parliament, I even had an issue with the use of the word Parliament should. So because he wants to find out who is Parliament. Is it all the MPs? Is it the Speaker? Is it the Clerk of Parliament? He thought they should be specific.
But I thought Parliament is an institution headed by an individual, the head of the Parliamentary Service Board, the head of the House of Parliament, the Speaker. Is that person not the face of Parliament? So that, for instance, if this directive was to the Ministry of Finance, the minister maybe would be the lead. And if it was to the government attorney general based on legal matters, if it's to a company, the managing director or the CEO is the face of the company. Does the same thing not happen where Parliament is a legal institution? If it is sued or suing, is it not through the Speaker's name who is the face of the House, or that's wrong?
I would have thought as much, that when a directive is given to Parliament, that the Speaker will look through the rules of the House and then decide how that directive is to be executed and further give direction as to how that should be done. If the rules don't even make provision under standing orders, I think too, he as Speaker has the discretion to devise a mechanism for getting that issue resolved based on some directive that he could give. So I'd have thought that that resolved the issue, but again, he raised those issues and he insisted that he wants to seek clarification from the Supreme Court. I thought during the debate that there's sufficient clarity. I mean, the issue is about whether or not he's eligible. I mean, there are many instances where people were subsequently declared ineligible to be members of Parliament, and I would think that it will not affect proceedings and decisions that have been taken. If you look at the Constitution, I see that there's a provision relating to people who know that they are not qualified to sit and vote, but who sit and vote and participate in proceedings of Parliament. That's an offense and punishable under the law. But then it falls short of saying that because they are not eligible and yet they participated in the proceedings or the vote or the decision, that decision is null and void. So I took a position on the floor today that yes, the Supreme Court has said we should take his name out. So it just involves taking his name out, but it doesn't affect everything that has happened in the House since he joined the House on January 8, 2021. So that's my position on the matter. But the Speaker has a different view of it. And so he's given directives based on his view of the matter.
I see. Now, it's a bit interesting, but we always hear you say Parliament is a master of its own rules, and we also know the issue of separation of powers. Now that you're running to the Supreme Court to guide you on your own internal rules, does it mean you are no more master of your rules?
This is not about our rules. This is about the Supreme Court giving a directive using expression that the Supreme Court has coined. So we're asking the Supreme Court to explain their directive. It has nothing to do with our rules. We didn't make rules saying that if XYZ situation arises, you expunge the name of that member from Parliament. They coined the term. And so because it is not a term that we are familiar with in our rules, in the Constitution, our standard orders, or any other legislation relating to Parliament, we reserve a right to ask them for clarification.
So the way forward, is that the way forward? Has the House generally agreed that that's what you're going to do? You write to the Supreme Court asking for that interpretation or direction to come, and until then, he remains on your record. Is that what it means?
If we assume that a directive given by the Speaker is the position of the House, I would say yes, because the Speaker has directed that the Supreme Court be written to explain what they meant by we should expunge his name from the record.
But this does not mean that his election has not been nullified. That is parallel to what you are asking for explanation to, correct?
I think the Supreme Court is clear about the nullification of his election. It's the consequential order that they have given that is the subject of some misunderstanding by the Speaker. So the issue of the nullification of his election is not what we are discussing here. It is when you say we should expunge his name from Parliament, the Speaker is asking, does it mean that we should expunge his name in such a way that it will appear that he never came to Parliament? Or are you saying that henceforth we should expunge his name from Parliament so that he will cease to be a member of the House from the time when the decision was handed down by the Supreme Court? That is where the Speaker has an issue. Are you saying we should expunge his name in a manner that will reflect what you are saying, that he's never been elected or properly elected, and therefore he wasn't eligible to be a member of Parliament, and therefore whatever he came and stayed here and did should not be captured? Those are the issues that the Speaker is asking. Because of the peculiar use of the word expunge, because it's not something we are familiar with in our Constitution and also in our standing order.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
My pleasure.
That's Honorable Mahama Yaga. He's Member of Parliament for Boku Central and is also a lawyer. Just helping us understand what the position of Parliament is on that decision of the Supreme Court on James Gyakye Quayson. That notwithstanding, though, there will be a by-election there, and we'll be covering that for you. The MPP chose its candidate yesterday, Charles Opoku, 2 days ago. The NDC settled on the same James Gyakye Quayson, so that it's going to be a race between these two during the by-elections. Now, one other story we've been looking at, the pensioner bondholders have decided to go to SHRAJ, asking for SHRAJ to intervene in the issue of payments that are supposed to be made to them by the government. They have been doing the picketing, and now they've decided to go to SHRAJ. In the course of the conversation, I asked the person who represents the pensioner bondholders if they did not consider the court. He said the court was going to be the last option, but also I drew his attention to a comment that was sent in by a lawyer who said that SHRAJ cannot enforce a contract because this issue of the bond is a contract. He has said, well, he was just waiting for SHRAJ to interpret. I just got another message from a law lecturer who says that the bond issue is not about contract. It amounts to arbitrariness on the part of public officer, administrative injustice in breach of Articles 23 and 296 of the Constitution. This is regulated by public law and not private principles. So that's a law lecturer who has just sent that message through. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 CTF. We have more from Parliament, don't we, Akuzia?
Yes, we do. The Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Eslaus Ekufo, says mobile network operators are liaising with the Bank of Ghana to ensure that persons who have their monies locked up on their mobile money accounts are retrieved. Many subscribers have been complaining about their inability to access their funds after their SIM cards were blocked. Providing an update on the status of the SIM re-registration in Parliament, Eslaus Ekufo says although such subscribers will not be able to transact business on such SIMs, their funds will be recovered.
It is important to note that the legacy platform only allowed completion of stage 1, which does not require biometric data and therefore could not complete the process. There were claims of database breaches during the exercise. Upon investigation, no unauthorized access or breach of the SIM registration database was discovered. The identified abuses during stage 1 were resolved, and did not involve unauthorized access to the SIM registration database. No one's identity or personal information has been stolen or compromised in this process. From 1st June 2023 to date, the NCA has been monitoring the situation, and it is interesting to note that at the MNO's customer care centers, there are people who have Ghana cards who had simply not registered their SIM cards. This demonstrates that even if there had been another extension of the deadline, we would still have had people who would simply not have registered their SIMs. They probably assumed that, as is characteristic of Ghanaians, a little public outcry would have led to a knee-jerk reaction of truncating this exercise. But with the enforcement of the deadline, these people have now lined up to register their SIMs, knowing that we're serious about this exercise. Some people who also use the lack of a Ghana card as an excuse not to register are now finding means of acquiring the Ghana card, or have reached out to the NCA, as they had earlier been directed to do, to ring-fence their SIMs while they await their Ghana cards. We will not encourage any anonymity in this exercise and reiterate that those who have genuine challenges acquiring the Ghana card to complete their SIM registration should contact the NCA with evidence of applying for the card, and that challenge will be addressed after investigating it. We continue to encourage the NIA, the National Identification Authority, to assist people to acquire their Ghana cards. We've also been made aware of the difficulty facing subscribers in accessing their funds on their mobile money wallets. These subscribers will not be able to transact any mobile money related activity. However, MNOs are working with the Bank of Ghana to ensure that these subscribers can retrieve their funds on the presentation of a valid ID and completion of the relevant KYC process. To transact mobile money related activity, the subscriber will have to complete their registration for the MNO to reactivate the SIM on the network.
Well, she also announced that her outfit will engage the clerk's office to complete the registration process for the reactivation of the speaker's official SIM card.
The NCA has established a SIM registration forensic audit team tasked to validate the integrity of the service provider's data in the Central SIM Register database, identify discrepancies or inconsistencies between the service provider's database and the Central SIM Register, evaluate the effectiveness of data synchronization processes, assess the accuracy and completeness of the Central SIM Register database, review data entry processes and security controls to mitigate the risk of data manipulation or corruption, and confirm the accuracy of SIM registration data in accordance with the requirements of the SIM regulations and directives of the authority. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, my information is that the SIM cards of some members of Parliament and even the Speaker and leadership were affected by this exercise. The MNOs have been in Parliament several times to assist members to complete the process and will continue to work with the clerk's office to facilitate registration for those who want to complete the exercise. By implementing a comprehensive SIM registration exercise, the government aims to reduce fraud, enhance security, and promote responsible use of SIM cards for the benefit of all. I'm counting on the support of colleague MPs to complete this exercise, which will inure to the benefit of all the good people of Ghana. I thank Ghanaians, all SIM users, and all the stakeholders involved in this process for their cooperation as we seek to build a digital Ghana based on sound, secure, foundational digital infrastructure, including a robust national SIM registry. Mr. Speaker, it is digitime in Ghana.
So you had the Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Esla Owusu Ekufo, speaking on the floor of Parliament. Well, reacting to the presentation by the minister, the MP for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, says the deactivation of SIM cards has affected social relationships in the country.
Mr. Speaker, when you go to the hinterlands, their access to Ghana card is not as easy as what is happening in urban Accra. And Minister, you are the last person we should be discussing the viability and social significance of mobile telephony. Those whose SIMs have so been blocked, some have suffered relationship problems. Some probably have lost their girlfriends, contact with their significant others. Even some have been threatened with divorce, very possible, because why have you not reached out to him or to her? Because your SIM has been blocked. That excuse, she may be creating problems for many marriages with this SIM block as a social problem. But Mr. Speaker, on a more serious note, you know mobile telephony is significant, Minister. So we are saying that don't just block SIMs when the fault or problem is not from the person who is holding the SIM.
So Haruna Idrisu there speaking on the floor of Parliament. He's a Tamale South legislator.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244-308-111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. Now, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng is back in the news. So is his former secretary at the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bisu. Let's tell you the story as we know it so far. Akosia.
So the former secretary to the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bisu, has taken legal action by filing a writ at the High Court in Accra to prevent the Office of the Special Prosecutor from prosecuting him. This lawsuit is in response to the ongoing investigation being conducted by the OSP into alleged corruption within the defunct committee, specifically involving its chairman, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng. According to the writ obtained by City News, Mr. Bisu revealed that he received a letter from the Office of the Special Prosecutor stating that he is considered a necessary person for the investigation and demanded his presence for an interview. Charles Bisu is praying the court to restrain the OSP from investigating him as part of the aforementioned case.
Let's talk about Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng now, who was chairman of the IMCIM. Akosia.
Yes, so he has been speaking on that arrest that he spoke on yesterday. Well, he says that he feels targeted following the arrest by the special prosecutor. The former minister revealed that he was arrested and granted bail to the sum of 2 million cedis on corruption and corruption-related activities. He spoke to Accra-based TV3 on his arrest. Well, he also indicated that he does not fear of being prosecuted later. Now, meanwhile, the Ghana Integrity Initiative is calling on the Office of the Special Prosecutor to come out with details of what ensued between the office and the former Minister of Environment.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 City FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka. in Accra. Up next, Nete is going to bring us the latest in the world of business, and then we will bring you the on-air series of the City Business Festival. Tonight, our topic is financing the digital economy. The guest is Claude Ajin Asamoah, who is head of payments and digital commercialization at ABSA. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. Let's settle for the details now. The Ghana Revenue Authority has hinted it will keep up with its VAT enforcement exercise to ensure businesses comply with the law. This comes as 3 shop owners at Achimota in Accra have been apprehended for flouting the tax laws of Ghana. The move is a continuation of GRA's exercise to have businesses comply with the VAT issuance regime. At least 50 business owners have so far been cited for wrongdoing since the commencement of the special exercise. During today's exercise, it emerged that business owners were issuing other invoices other than the GRAs. Here are excerpts of what transpired when the GRA got to Diva Cosmetics and Fabrics at Achimota.
So is it your receipt? Yeah, is it coming from this shop?
What?
We want you to confirm.
When I check, I check.
But it's your receipt, right?
Yeah, it's my receipt.
And you issue it to someone. So
Let me look at the date of the receipt.
So, it's a violation against the law.
Okay.
This one was issued in a mail, madam.
The problem is when I start the shop, and if somebody comes to buy something, I issue a receipt. But as time goes on, I didn't receive you should receipt.
So the point we are making is that per the relevant sections of the law, vis-a-vis section 41 of the Value Added Tax Act, you are not supposed to issue your own invoice. You are supposed to issue Commissioner General invoice or any invoice approved by the Commissioner General.
No.
So yes, so that is why we are here to educate you, to take you through the education and to regularize your affairs. So going forward, you start doing the right thing.
Thank you very much.
So we are here to get some of the documents that you are using to keep sales or the records, business records.
You heard excerpts of engagements between staff of the Ghana Revenue Authority and staff of Diva Cosmetics and Fabrics at Achimota in Accra. Deputy Energy Minister Herbert Krapper has emphasized the importance of mainstreaming gender issues in policies and budgets across various sectors, particularly energy. The Deputy Energy Minister further underscored the transformative potential of energy access, highlighting that when women are empowered with reliable and clean energy sources, they can drive diverse sectors of the economy and contribute to inclusive growth. Herbert Krapper made the call when he spoke at the Gender Summit on the theme Africa's Energy Transition Pathways and Vision of the Green New Deal through a gender lens.
More, of course, you don't have to lose sight of the fact that the global picture of sustainable energy to run the economy includes women as beneficiaries. And so that itself is a starting point. And then you come down to how you are intentionally including policies that help to directly impact women and young people with access to sustainable energy for driving their trade, for health purposes, for education, for employment, for skills training, and the rest of them. And you know that the President himself, Excellency President Kufuor, who is the champion on women issues, very clear. The energy transition issue is very serious. And he's been very passionate about it.
Deputy Energy Minister Herbert Krapper speaking there. The National Pensions Authority has assured of leveraging on the technical expertise and knowledge offered by the Swiss government to effectively regulate the growing pension industry in the country. According to the NPRA, though the Swiss Secretariat for Economic Affairs has been able to roll out a risk-based framework and supervision systems as part of moves to mitigate some of the challenges of the activities of industry players such as non-compliance. The Chief Executive Officer of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, Hayford Atakrufi, has been speaking on the development.
This risk-based supervision system is going to help us streamline the supervisory and the regulatory mandate of the authority. Mr. Chairman, in order to use our resources efficiently and effectively, the RBS not only to be abreast with the emerging pension regulatory practice, but most importantly, to ensure efficient and effective use of manpower and technology. The CIRCLE project has helped us to secure what we term the transitional model, which will support not only the core RBS operations, which is being built, but this system has been a very effective technological tool that is made to help us in the submission of data, validation of it, the processing, and then the analyzing, so that we will be able to, in real time, see where the issues and dangers and risks in the industry are, so that we can follow through to ensure effective regulation of the industry.
That was the CEO of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, Hayford Atakrufi. And finally, players in the events industry say business is no longer friendly in the face of the harsh economic situation. They say the recent increase in utility tariffs and the unfavorable tax regime cripple operations, thereby raising fears at the risk of going out of business. For them, they are now bouncing back from the shocks of the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, governments must ensure an enabling environment to ensure their survival. Kate Hassan is the president of the Event Vendors Association of Ghana.
It's a long value chain that people, we use the carpenters, the welders, and with all the tariffs, it has affected their production and their cost. So it affects the work that we are doing. That is the reason why when we take out invoices, the client goes like, I cannot do it anymore, it's too much for me. So we have to cut down on guests and even events that are going on. All the logistic companies, in as much as they try to increase their price, even that they are having issues because it's also not tallying for them, it's not working for them, but they are still working and it's not the best. We are really in a phase right now, but
Kate Hassan is the president of the Event Vendors Association of Ghana. And that's it for City Business News and Eyewitness News, powered by citybusinessnews.com. My name is Neteli Nete Ajaho. Have a good evening.
Hey, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you. Can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panza.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Hey, sorry. Chairman Mane. Chairman. Hey, Chairman!
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Welcome to day 4 of our City Business Festival on a series. Our first week is focused on the digital economy. And this morning, we'll be getting the insights from one of our sponsoring organizations and how they relate to the digital economy. So my guest is the head of payments and digital commercialization at APSA, Claude Agena Samoa. And he's here with Henry Horatio Nidodu, who's the head of digital and emerging payments within that unit. Gentlemen, you are welcome to the City Business Festival.
Thank you very much, Bernard.
Wonderful. Horatio, we had you on the panel on Tuesday, so today we allow you to rest a bit. But it's good to have you. Good morning. Now, today what I want to do is to understand what you do, but also get a sense of the money aspect of all of this, right? So yes, in a sense, we'll talk about payments, but also we're talking about digital economy, platform, storage, but we need money to push that. So we'll also discuss a bit about financing fintechs and tech startups. But let's start with you, Claude. You are the head of payments and digital commercialization at APSA. What does that mean?
Thank you, Bernard. So simply, my job is to ensure that I'm providing payments and digital solutions to our customers. Mm-hmm. At APSA, our purpose is to ensure that we are empowering Africa's tomorrow together. What that means is that it's imperative that we build our business clients, help them expand and grow at scale, whilst empowering them during their decision-making process. For the retail customer, the purpose is to ensure that we are giving them the ease of banking, of transacting, pulling them away from the manual processes and pulling them away from entering the physical branches. Hence, I can just say in summary, my role is to ensure that I'm providing convenience, security, speed, and the flexibility of banking and transacting at the comfort of your home, office, or wherever you find yourself.
I notice you separate this from the consumers or the customers, and then like the corporate business partners. Can you elaborate a bit? So you're saying that for me, who's a customer of the bank, what you do is to make me get access to all I need without actually coming to the branch.
Exactly, Bernard. So today, the branch is your phone. You do not need to walk into any of our branches to execute or effect any transaction. You can apply for fixed deposits or any of our investment bills on our platforms. You can open an account on your phone. You can apply for a foreign transfer or effect a foreign transfer on your phone. So you can do all these transactions that hitherto you'd have done in the branch on the mobile app.
So the bank is no longer a place you go to, but a thing you do. So,
exactly.
So it's not. So you can't say I'm going to the bank.
No.
The bank is coming to you.
Exactly.
But do customers understand this? Particularly because you are a legacy bank, you've been here for many, many years. I still know people who want to talk to somebody. They want to see Claude because when their grandmother came to the bank, Claude's grandfather was the guy they met. So people are very comfortable, with, especially with the legacy banks. How are you convincing your clients, customers that, look, yes, we are here for you, but we don't need to really see you. Or you don't need to see us. You will still be fine. I think there's a mindset issue there, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So that talks to the whole commercialization bit of the job. Right from the point where we deploy solutions, the next level is how are we then creating the awareness. Okay, and in creating the awareness, there are a number of things that we look at because it's a whole marketing activity. The first thing is the step-by-step process in whatever solution has been rolled out. However, in as much as we are doing this, we try to ensure that the self-service part of whichever solution has been rolled out is effective. We try to create that user experience, make it friendly, simple, and easy to use so that customers don't even struggle whilst going on these platforms. The next thing is we walk you through. We have processes, we have methods that we can walk you through. This is done via emailers, SMS, and some DIY videos, do-it-yourself videos, where you can also watch and get to understand and effect the transactions or enjoy these solutions. Again, what we do is we handhold some of these customers, especially our relationship managed customers, in the affluent space, where we walk them through the journey, help them to be able to get to use these platforms better. So all in all, we come to your space, we come into your home, we come into your office, letting you understand that you do not need to come into the banking hall like you used to. You do not need to come and see that Bernard, that Claude that you used to know. Today, you can easily do that from your home. And we have a contact center that runs 24/7. So anytime that you face any challenge, you can easily reach out to them and they can also assist you.
But internally as an organization, how do you treat digital? Is it replacing people as well? Because I know, for example, you guys now use AI. I know you have chatbots and things like this. So is your role also to think about how within the organization you can optimize the process so that you don't need 50 people trying to deal with client one check or whatever process you do. So just talk to me a bit about what this means for within the organization's operations as well.
Great. So I think is the two-pronged approach. So one is the cost optimization, which is basically what you've touched on. Yes, we are going on this journey to ensure that we are optimizing costs. We are reducing our cost to serve. And then the other angle is to generate revenue. However, people are not going to lose their jobs. So what we've encouraged now is all colleagues should increase their capacity, begin to learn new things. They need to equip themselves with the new trends. So they are going to move into these spaces. AI is coming up. Now we are expanding our digital business. People can pick up new roles in those units and departments. So they won't lose jobs. Greater opportunities are coming, and they can all take a part of it, take advantage of this.
Just the next leg of what you do, the payments. I hear a lot about payments these days. How important is the payment function in an economy? Because I'm seeing whole businesses built around payments, which I find quite fascinating. So is there something that we don't know when we say payments? What are we talking about, and why is it so important these days?
Thanks, Bernard. So simply, we have some goods and services that need to be exchanged. And this time we are exchanging them via online, digital, virtual, whichever means. Okay, and that is where payments come in, because we are taking out the cash and we are using another enabler channel. So if we talk about payments, we simply want to say Bernard has his simple shop on the website, e-commerce business, and Claude wants to buy some kente. So Claude goes in there and then effects the payment, and Bernard hands over the kente to Claude. Simply that. That's simply the payment. There are various channels. There are various ways of doing this. You can do this via Momo. You can do this via cards. You can do this via transfers. Whichever means that you want to undertake or execute your business, that is available to you.
Because traditionally, in the example you gave, Bernard wants to buy something, a kente material from your shop.
Yeah.
He walks to his branch of ABSA.
Good.
And he goes to sign a check.
Good.
And they give him the money. He puts the money in his pocket, takes a trotro, and goes to
that shop.
The shop to buy what he buys. You're basically saying that whole thing has changed. Yeah. He doesn't have to go to the shop.
No.
He doesn't have to go to the bank.
No.
But what he uses to pay for the kente is still money.
Exactly. It's money, but this time it's electronic.
Yeah. So he doesn't even need paper.
He doesn't need paper. Paper is becoming extinct gradually.
So he doesn't go to the shop, but he sees the product.
Yes.
He doesn't go to the bank, but he gets access to money in his wallet.
Correct.
And the wallet is not in his pocket.
No.
It's on his phone.
Yes.
He sends the money to Claude.
Yes.
Claude receives the money, but there's no paper exchanged.
No.
So the companies that facilitate all of this are the payment ecosystem companies.
Correct.
So elaborate. So because I know there are so many types, right? So there's you guys who have the real money.
Yeah.
There's the Momo guys. So if the money is in the form of Momo, which is sort of a translation of my CDs into that.
Yeah.
But there's also a company that's making the money move. All right? And there's another company that's helping the guy receive it.
Yeah.
And probably put it in a place that comes back to you.
Yeah.
Like
the whole ecosystem.
I break that down.
Okay. All right. So let me take it step by step. So today, I'll start internally. So today, ABSA has a customer, a business customer. Okay. That business customer has, let's say, let me use a POS terminal. So Bernard can walk into Bernard & Co. company that sells kente. And they tell Claude that the price is 1,000 cedis, and Claude can pay with his card via the terminal. That's one place. So this money comes directly into the merchant's account that probably sits with us.
So I have a card.
You have a card.
So that card I can either insert or tap.
Exactly.
And it draws the money.
Correct.
That's point one.
That's point one. Point two, Bernard has a website. And on the website, he's running an e-commerce business.
Selling different things online.
Selling different things.
Displaying them.
Exactly. Shoes, money, bags, whatever. And Claude goes onto that site and he wants to buy a shirt or a locally made shoe by Bernard's company.
Yes.
So Claude picks the shoe and Bernard says that is 500 cedis.
Then he goes to the checkout.
Yes, he goes to an order form.
Yes.
So there's an order form.
Summarizes what I've bought.
Thank you very much. And then I input my details there.
Yes.
So I bought one shoe. This is the amount. I want to
Calculate
deliver
the tax,
here, everything in there. And then I click. Once I do that, the money moves in this instance, it can be two ways.
So before when you click on the order form, it takes you to the payment type.
Good.
So either Momo or bank card,
very good,
or some wallet of ZPay or something.
Very good. Very good. So at that point, you then choose where the money is stored. So is the money stored in your account? Is the money stored in your mobile wallet? Or is the money stored in
some other wallet?
In some other wallet. You choose it.
So let's assume it's in the bank and it's on my card. Then I put my card details and then I go.
Very good.
If the money is Momo, it takes me to my Momo.
Very good.
Then if the money is in a wallet of any of these companies,
anybody, maybe it's Ghana Pay,
then it takes me there.
Exactly.
It could even be Gips something.
Exactly.
Wow. So then the technology behind all of that, there are companies that make that happen.
Exactly.
Interesting. Now, what about the guy who's selling? So yes, I'm the one buying. So the guy who's selling also has to have a way in which he can make all these possible payments available on his site.
Correct.
And then link all these monies to his main account.
Correct.
So whether I pay with Momo, my card, or that
whichever wallet,
it will go to his ABSA account in his house or wherever.
Or whichever nominated account
he wants.
Yes.
So he can even create a separate account for it.
He can create a separate account.
So what advantage does this give over the traditional thing? Because in the traditional, I know who you are. I give you the money. I saw your face. All right. So I go online, I do the payment, and then it says it goes through. Maybe internet was not working. Or I did it, and for some reason, I missed some number. Do you get me? So you need to explain to me that this is an advantage. I know it's convenient. I don't want to sit in the traffic. I don't want to come to your shop in Abu Brusi. But I still want the shoe.
Yeah.
So can you compare and contrast the advantage and disadvantage of this system you have created with your partners as against Bernard coming to your shop and giving physical money and say, Charlie, if you tell me you don't have the money, you're in trouble. You know?
Okay, so Bernard, let's look at it from this way. So first and foremost, let's look at it from the cost to serve.
Yes.
Okay, today Bernard does not need to go and rent a shop and have to pay rent, pay utilities, maintain the shop. All that money, Bernard is going to save them because Bernard just needs to have a small room in his house or in his car, and all the goods are in there. Some people even act as brokers. The wares are in a warehouse somewhere, stored somewhere. So once you choose them, he goes to get them. So cost to serve is one advantage. The second thing is the reach. If you have your shop at Agbogboshi today, until Bernard walks in there, he doesn't know that you have this product or that product. But online, you can imagine the reach, the number of people that.
So the whole country,
the whole
world can see my shop.
Yes,
that's amazing.
Exactly. So the reach again is amazing. You get to maximize the opportunity that sits in that space. Again, let's talk about the speed. Okay, so I see it, I can have it now.
So then somebody will get the delivery to send it to me. Immediately I make the payment.
Quickly.
Good.
Quickly. Compared to picking a car, going to Tesano, going
you
to...
are not even productive. You spend the whole day just going to buy
You only
a shoe.
have 1 hour lunch or something.
Meanwhile, they can bring the shoe to your house and your security man will sign. And then you pick it when you get back home.
Very easy. Very easy. You know. And then again, for the merchant, he should look at things like theft, which again can happen because you're collecting cash, a lot of cash. People can, there's a cost to it as well. So the risk and the cost associated.
And it's even tracking his expenditure.
Exactly.
Then now even if he wants to process, so like if he has 200 sales in a month, I'm sure there's a platform you can go to where he can now know that 60% of my buyers are from Kumasi, 40% are aged below 30.
Exactly.
He may not be able to do that if he sits in his office because he may not even know who the guy is.
Exactly.
But because of the data system that he has.
Exactly.
So now he generates more intelligence about his business.
Exactly. So you've touched on, I was just coming to data and insights, which again is the new oil because that points to a lot of things, and you can have predictive models to tell the next best product for these customers because you know them, you know their behavioral patterns, you know how they are transacting, and so you can tell which products, which solutions to offer to these people.
So if like Bernard comes to your site 4 times a year, you can analyze Bernard and say the first time he came, he bought a belt.
Yeah.
Second time he bought a wallet. Yeah. And then he bought a shoe.
Yeah.
Then he bought a belt again.
Yeah.
So it tells you that maybe his cycle for buying belts is every 6 months.
Every 6
so
months.
you probably want to come.
Exactly.
So that you not even know if you don't have that type of.
No. And maybe Bernard likes pink belts or green belts.
Yes.
You know, that sort of thing. Yeah.
So the analytics that you generate from just the business transaction becomes another level of improving the customer experience.
Taking you straight to the next level. Taking you straight to the guy who is physically sitting there and waiting and saying, I'm scared, fraudsters can get into my space, hackers, scammers. This actually eliminates all that.
Wow. We're talking to the head of payments and digital commercialization at ABSA, Claude Ajin Asamoah. Indeed, the interview is really about the digital economy, but his angle is the payments and digital commercialization. I'm really trying to just understand how payments work from a back-end perspective, and he's really giving us insights. We'll come back and delve into some other issues. So it seems as if, again, I made this point to Benedict yesterday, on the side of technology and on the side of the technology guys, we are doing a lot. But in terms of the vendors and those who actually sell, wanting to now use all these tools, we seem to have a problem. So I'll deal with that when we come back. And then also some possible future trends, where he sees the sector going. And then also financing. A lot of listeners will say, look, I'm starting my fintech, I need money. Is there money to promote these types of things? All of that when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the On Air series. This is the City Business Festival. Today we're speaking to the head of payments and digital commercialization at ABSA, Claude Ajin Asamoah, and our discussion is around the digital economy broadly, payments specifically, and also financing of same. So Claude, you've said a lot about the payments. I think I get it. You've explained digital commercialization. I get it. But why is a bank like ABSA even interested in the digital economy?
Thank you, Bernard. Bernard, today, digital is the way to go. You cannot keep maximizing the opportunity out there through your physical structures. That would not work. How many salespeople are you going to get to enter all the areas in Ghana and even globally? Your reach will be limited. So it's imperative that as a business, we begin to structure or restructure our models to play in this space and play more aggressively. Internally, some of the things that we've done is to ensure that we are equipping our guys, increasing the capability and capacity of our people. Again, when you look at our digital bouquet, products and services that we offer, it should tell you that as a business, we are very serious in that sphere. Again, we are partnering people like MEST to be able to help the youth play some role in the community. We are equipping them with skills, changing the mindset, and bringing up these new entrepreneurs who are also going to help develop this digital agenda. Lastly, from a financial part, which the bank comes in, the money part, we're also trying to ensure that we are financing all these new businesses, startups, fintechs, women in businesses, agri-businesses, the youth, to ensure that they can now pick up their businesses and take to the next level. So it's a key for us, and that's why we are playing in this space actively.
Generally, when you look at technology companies in the global south, apart from the big ones, a lot of the good ones start as startups. 3 or 4 people leave university, come together. Inevitably, after putting their monies together, they would need proper financing. We tend to typically see money coming in from venture capital. We tend to see money coming in from private equity, mostly from the US and Europe and maybe other parts of the world. The monies we have here doesn't seem ready to support these types of technology ventures. Now, I may be wrong, but that's my observation. I want you to comment on that. And also, how institutions like yours can begin to be more amenable to financing this type of startups, because we notice that a lot of them tend to do well. Yes, some do fail, but some of the companies we celebrate today started like startups, right? Started with their own money. Somebody from US will come in and say, we are going to give you, come in as an equity partner, we bring in X amount. Gradually, they become very big. You don't typically see a bank. A bank will give you a loan to go and bring goods from Turkey and come and sell. Mm-hmm. But I want to start a company in my boots Nah, they're not interested. So let's talk about that.
Thank you, Bernard. So, like I said, the purpose of ABSA today is to empower Africa's tomorrow together, which means that we want to work with everybody, every customer, and how we can take it to the next level. So currently, when you look across one of the propositions we have in our SME space, we are actually offering this highly subsidized interest rates at 10%. And this is meant to support businesses like the fintechs that you talk about, and young businesses like the youth, whichever businesses that you want to get into. We want to help them. So we've subsidized our rates. Ordinarily, they would have been trending around 20-something%. But we say, no, come and take it at 10%. We want to help you with that. Again, as a startup company, when you come and open an account with us, we take you through a number of training. We put you in forums. We connect you with other bigger players so that you're able to learn the skills, the tenets of which business structures, acquisitions that you need to do. And then that will take you to the next level. So this is something that we play. We help these young businesses as well to get them to the next level. Again, we try to partner fintechs like the very big ones, Haptel, the Paystacks, again, to be able to support some of these younger ones. They sort of leverage, run on their rails to be able to grow. And then when they get to their level that they can break off, they also stand alone. So these are some of the things that from our end as a business.
So on the training side, I see it as you're saying, look, the risk in this sector is large. We are going to help de-risk it by holding the hands of the companies to get some basics and also linking them to other people. So it's almost like you're taking upon yourself to train your client.
Yeah.
And I notice you do some ready-to-work things and all of that.
Exactly.
So is that all part of the strategy? So you're spending money to do that because you want to be able to lend to them.
Exactly. Build their capacity. And then we can lend to them.
So you are no longer complaining that they are not credit ready.
We've moved away from that.
Now you are saying, no problem.
We are happy to work with you.
From the beginning to the end.
Come, let's go on the journey together. It's a whole life cycle. We believe that there are greater potentials. Come, let's work together. Let's go on that journey. We'll support you on the way. That's it.
But let's talk about some of the companies you mentioned. So you guys have been in this business for a long time. Just give me some of the partners you have. It just gives me because you're one of the biggest banks in the country, right? And a lot of these companies, what we've done in Ghana, which is good, is that all these people work with partner banks. Yeah. So when you are given even an e-money license, you need a partner bank.
Correct.
So our system is very clear. The bank is like the headquarters.
Yeah.
Because you have the structures, you have the legacy systems, you have the IFRS and all these things.
Correct.
So talk to me about how that has helped to grow these payment platforms and the ones that you can say you are confident are on track.
Great. So I think one of the great partnerships we have is with Visa. It's a scheme called Visa. Visa has been very instrumental in us growing our card business and on the e-commerce side as well. On the e-commerce side, they have what we call the cyber source. So a partner like Visa, great partnership. We've had great achievements with them. We've grown businesses. We've been able to meet the needs of customers with that partnership. Again, with the telcos, MTN, Vodafone, Airtel Tigo, we have a great partnership with them. This actually covers or expands our reach, looking at access, financial inclusion. We leverage on the telcos to be able to drive home that agenda. Again, with MEST, like I said, in touching the youth, changing the mindset, training, equipping these people, MEST has also been a very great partner. And we have other ones like Jumo. Jumo is also coming where we are also lending to this sort of a micro lending proposition where the ordinary people can come and take loans with us. ABSA is behind and financing this. And then we have other big fintechs like Haptel, we have Paystack, we have ExpressPay, who we also use our platforms to enable their payments and they can route it to us. So these are some great partners that ABSA has been working with.
Mobile money disrupted banking. But it seems as if the banks in Ghana did not fall on the side. They woke up, smelled the coffee, and said, let's get on with it. And I can see, for example, when I speak to people in ABSA maybe 15 years, 20 years ago, your role was not as important. But now you are one of the most important people. A lot of techies work for banks. Just talk to me about how your bank and other banks initially saw the Momo incursion and how you responded.
Thank you, Bernard. So, yes, you're spot on with that. We woke up one morning and we noticed that a lot of our deposits were actually going out, sitting on wallets, sitting in the telco space. And obviously, whichever partner banks they had contracted were enjoying those benefits. Again, we noticed that transactions were happening more in that sector than us. So we quickly had to plug in. So we quickly had to go and then sign up some contracts, some deals to be able to hold these deposits. So these deposits do not necessarily sit in individual accounts, but we hold them as e-value. But again, it gave us a pipeline for leads, because then again, for some of these customers, we are able to cross-sell our solutions and they become our customers. From the payment side, we've worked together with them. So you have solutions such as bank to wallet, which means that Bernard has an account with APSA and he wants to send money to Horatio's wallet. He can easily do that because of this great partnerships, interoperability things that we've put together. So these are some of the things that have benefited us from the partnerships that we've created.
I've always wondered the bank to wallet, which happens more? Do more people withdraw to wallet or pay? Because I do both actually. So if I have a loose cash that I pay to my Momo and I wanted to go to the bank, I won't go to the bank. I'll pay into my Momo and then pay to the bank.
Yeah.
And then if I also want to withdraw, I would do same. Yeah. So for me, it's a bit of 50-50.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it's a good solution for a customer. Yeah. Is it a good solution for a bank? Because some people say that. So for example, if Desmond, who's my technician, says, Charlie Aloski, I need 50 Ghana to do something. I look in my physical wallet, I don't have 50 Ghana. So Desmond, sorry, I don't get money.
Mm-hmm.
But now, if Desmond says, Charlie Aloski, I need 50 Ghana, I can't say I don't have money, because if I even look in my pocket and I don't have money, when I go on my moment, there's no money there. My bank account is still there. Say, oh, Charlie, pull money.
Yeah.
So it seems to me as if withdrawals may be more than deposits, and because the telcos also sort of are cash rich, they may keep the deposits. You know what I'm saying? So like people would use the bank to wallet to remove their money.
Yes.
But when you go and pay into your Momo, it's not like they don't want to give it back to the bank because like the bank is long.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are.
Yeah. So Bernard, it's a fine balance between, the bank and the wallet. Okay. Yes, you might see maybe about a 60-40. You have more people moving from the bank to wallet, and then the reverse, maybe about 40% doing the wallet to bank. So it's about maybe a 60-40 between the two splits. But there are some things that we also do to sort of mitigate or minimize that capital flight. Okay, some of these things are like the transactional limits, and then some of the charges in there. So we need to sort of manage.
But would you say generally that has Momo increased the liquidity and the deposit rate for the banks? Can you put hand on hand and say, look, Momo has helped more money come in because somebody may have been keeping the money home, but because of Momo, right now they are in the system as against another appeal?
Correct. 100%. I agree. That's the situation.
Wow. So we need to thank the Momo guys. Let's end with my question around getting. So I'll give you another example. So one of my friends, Godfrey, he keeps telling me he lives in Kenya. He lived in Kenya for a while. He says in Kenya, when I go to Kenya, I don't need physical cash. And I don't need to do cash out. So when I go, whatever I need to do, there's somebody who receives the payment within the system. So he can just go with his phone and do everything. He says, when I come to Ghana, I have money in my Momo. But most people are doing cash out. They're going to buy a Kagari with the cash. He's going to buy Baba shop with the cash. He says, when I go to my Baba, I don't need to move money. But in Ghana, you move the money. When I want to go, so it's saying that in some economies, and he uses Kenya as an example, they've created a system where everything is moving within the system.
Yeah.
But you go to Ghana, people are queuing at the Momo vendor because they want to remove 200 Ghana cedis to go and buy gobe.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that and what we need to do to create, I don't know, as an economist guy, I'll call it the demand side, where there's more people who say, look, you can pay me with it without me having to collect money and give to them. It seems as if we have a problem on the maybe you can call it supply side, depending on how you see it.
Yeah.
But there's obviously a missing link there.
Yeah.
If you get my point, if you can, you can give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So Bernard, you're right. So I think it's how we are building the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So today, Bernard wants to buy Kente with the example I use.
Yeah.
So he goes online and pays for it. The Kente seller or that merchant needs to go and pay, let's say, the one who provided her with the threads. She should be able to transfer that money to that person. That person also wants to go and pay the one who sold the cotton to him. He should be able to pay. So we need to build the ecosystem. That whole value chain must be built, where everybody is enclosed in it. We are not breaking at the point to take money to go and pay. No, we need to do that. Again, I think we need to. So for the customer, are we creating the right access? Is there enough access to pay? So with the example you gave with Godfrey, today he can go to the barber shop. They don't have any payment channel there. Why? So we should create the access. We should be able to get into all these spaces and create that and make them more cheaper for the guy. So like the barber, what's his problem? Is it that it's expensive? How can we make it cheaper? How can we give him? Today we are coming out with a solution called a soft pause. So you don't even need to get a terminal. We can just put a soft pause, which is a phone. Wow. I get there and I can just tap on your phone and I've paid. You know, so we need to look at some of these. We have a USSD solution. We have what's the other one? We have what we call a push link. It's a payment link. So you can easily go on the person's Instagram account or Facebook or WhatsApp and would push a link to you. And you can easily just go there and pay. So we need to try and create enough access. But on the access is the infrastructure. Because again, if I come in and I want to pay, and you don't have good connectivity, you don't have stability, then it means that obviously I'll lose trust in it, because at the time when I wanted to pay, your system was down. You had down times and everything. So we need to also look at that. Again, we also need some support from the government. We need to have some policy, some policy refresh, some policy direction. You know, we need to put in place a framework that would also get more people to accept these payment solutions than the cash. You know, you want to pay for your passport, you want to go and renew your license, we need to put in place these solutions and cut out all the cash accepting channels that we have there.
Final question is just about the future. What do you see? We are in an era of AI, ChatGPT, and all of this. As somebody who's a technology guy in a financial institution, which itself is interesting because now I insist that the techies are becoming more important in the finance function. So like 20 years ago, you just needed hardcore finance to work in a bank. But now, Charlie, engineers, software developers, programmers, like I even see probably in the next decade, most bank managers, the MDs of banks will have to be technology people. Yeah. Because the finance is there, but the technology is where the future is. Yeah. How do you see the future in this sector, and what are your final thoughts?
A number of things are going to change. Today, when Bernard wants a loan, he probably has to walk in and say, oh, can you give me a loan? Things like that are going to change. We are going to leverage AI, which is going to pick insights from your activities, from your behaviors, and using the data that we have, we can then predict your next solution for you. Okay, we are going to have personalized banking. So when you go on your app, we can say, oh, Bernard, you qualify for a credit card. Just tap on it, and your credit card is delivered to you. Bernard, you qualify for a loan. Just tap on it, and it comes to you. So we're going to have more personalized offerings, more personalized banking. We're going to leverage a lot on artificial intelligence to drive home a lot of high cost, generate more revenues for us. We are going to change our product types. We are going to have more virtual cards. Today we are actually printing physical plastic cards. We're going to change all that. We're going to move into virtual cards. We're going to move into phone as your payment tools, where you just tap with your phone. You don't need to go and pick a card or go into some Momo. No, once I get to the place, I tap with my phone, I'm gone. So these are some of the things we are going to get into. Yeah.
Things are going to get better.
Exactly.
And we'll all benefit.
Definitely.
Amazing stuff. I've been talking to the head of payments and digital commercialization at APSA, Claude Ajin Asamoah. He came through with Horatio Nidodo, who was basically just giving us moral support. Thank you, Horatio. Do you want to say anything before you go? Because you spoke a lot on Tuesday, so I didn't want to ask you any question. But any final thoughts from you, Horatio, on what we've been discussing?
I think the future is exciting, and we should all be ready for it.
Amazing stuff. Don't forget that the Business Festival is brought to you by City TV, City FM, in partnership with APSA, sponsored by MTN Business and MTN Mobile Money, as well as ZPay. We'll be with you next time.